Hi there, welcome to my latest episode of my 10-minute rants, which over the last few has probably kept up to near 20 minutes because the SNP have been the subject of most of my rants, and to be honest with you, they give you a lot to talk about. So I do apologise if you tune in for 10 minutes and they get up to 15 or 20. But anyway, today's rant is about an amazing coincidence, we'll probably be told, and in coming days and weeks as this information hits mainstream. The amazing coincidence of the amount of documents destroyed by the Scottish Government in the year 2019, about 25% of a whole year's destroyed files happened the day after Court of Session had agreed with Alex Salmond that his original complaint about his sexual harassment was mishandled by the Scottish Government. So before I go on to figures, just give everybody a sort of short rundown of what actually happened in this instance and led to today's freedom information becoming public. Excuse me. So late 2017, the Scottish Government had some sexual harassment accusations and complaints against Alex Salmond. Alex Salmond wasn't happy with the way his complaint was dealt with by the Scottish Government, and he went and organised a judicial review which the courts heard about how his case was handled, and the court case came in favour of Alex Salmond, saying that the Scottish Government hadn't dealt with these allegations properly. And then 2 weeks later, at the end of January 2019, Alex Salmond was arrested. Court case, he was tried through court of law, and on the 23rd of March 2020 he was found not guilty with one charge not proven. Then during 2020 and 2021 the Scottish Government set up a committee to look at the handling of his sexual harassment initial complaints and how that was handled in the Scottish Government. And they heard, as I say, between 2020 and 2021, and on the 23rd of March 2021, the Scottish Government Committee found in favour of Alex and agreed that it was mishandled. But interestingly enough, they also noted that Nicola Sturgeon had misled the committee. Now, this was just before one of the Scottish Parliament elections, and this news was quite bad. So there was a side committee sent up, or hearing sent up by the Scottish Government, an independent one, where an Irish judge, Judge Hamilton, was brought in to give his opinion on Nicola Sturgeon and primarily if she broke any ministerial code. Now, although surprisingly it found that she hadn't broken the ministerial code, Judge Hamilton in his report did say that she gave an incomplete narrative of what had went on during the initial complaint hearings. However, he remarked, it was a genuine failure of recollection. She just forgot. She forgot. But he suggested that it wasn't deliberate. So she hadn't she hadn't broken any ministerial codes. He also gave a caveat, interestingly enough, to say that it was down to Parliament to decide if they'd been misled or not. Yeah. So, quite an odd report, and a heavily redacted report, I may add, but it was made public. So God knows what it's, he said in these ones with the big black line through it. But Miss Sturgeon grabbed onto this, and she since then has always pled that an independent inquiry found that she was right. Well, depends how you read it. And until now, I've not been able to read the whole thing, but certainly the fact that she gave an incomplete narrative of her dealings with Salmond during this initial harassment complaint back in 2017 would suggest to me, and probably most normal thinking people, that she's at it. So, now the latest, just about a month ago, Alex Salmond has submitted paperwork to the Court of Session to claim malfeasance, which basically means people, and he's named several leading SNP personnel at the time, including Nicola Sturgeon, and it basically means that they've misused their power. So that's as far as we're up to date with what's going on with this whole thing. So we're 6 years down the line since initial complaints about Alex Salmond, and it's still not finished. So that's what's going on at the time. He's put in another Court of Session paperwork, which he's trying to basically sue the Scottish Government, inverted commas, SNP, for loss of earnings, etc., because for the last 6 years he feels that their mishandling of the initial complaints led to him being arrested, led to all this stuff, and 6 years later is claiming for loss of earnings, etc. So that's where we're at. However, back to the point of today's 10-minute rant. A Freedom of Information request about destroyed documents in that time, 2019 specifically, has come back with some quite worrying and concerning figures. And during the whole of 2019, the Scottish Government destroyed 1,096 reports, data, documents, which may or may not in itself be a fascinating figure. But when you break down that calendar year, 1,096 in the whole 12 months. The day after the Alex Salmond judicial review in 2019, which would have been 8th of January, when they found in favour of Alex Salmond and the fact that his original complaint was mishandled. So that was on the 8th of January, so I'm suggesting the 9th of January, out of 1,096 documents destroyed in the full year, 251 were destroyed in that one day, 24 hours after the judicial review had found in favour of Alex Salmond. Oddly enough, in the full month after that hearing, a total of 1,058 documents miraculously were destroyed. That meant in the whole other 11 months of that year, out of almost 1,100 documents in that 1 year, the rest of the calendar year, 11 months, 38 documents were destroyed. That's an average of between 3 and 4 a month. But in that 1 month after his victory in the courts, 1,058 were destroyed. Normally 3 to 4 a month. And the most peculiar figure, which is a remarkable coincidence, obviously, because SNP are really good people, and they keep telling us that they're all for transparency and openness, don't they? We've heard that numerous times over the last few years about how transparent the SNP government are and how open they want to be. But the day after Alex Salmond's victory in court, proving that they dealt with this transparent and open government, had dealt with his original harassment complaints unfairly. The very next day, 251 documents miraculously disappeared, 1,058 in total in the first month after his success at court, out of a whole year where the government only had to destroy another 38 documents in total over the rest of the calendar year. That, my friends, is absolutely fascinating, isn't it? And I'm quite sure people with a bigger reach in the public and a bigger names than me will surely ask questions about this, potentially when government come back after New Year. Good idea would maybe be First Minister's questions, giving other MSPs from the opposition a chance to question the Scottish Government leaders on these amazingly coincidental figures I'm sure that there's journalists out there with far bigger connections than me will be able to ask some serious questions about this. But the fully expected answer will be, it's just the way we do it. It will just be total coincidence. I would also like to see Freedom of Information replies, and I'll do a wee bit of research into that to see if there's anything else in the ether showing if how this 1096 in a calendar year compares to other years. And regardless of that, if it was a similar figure, or there or thereabouts, I would imagine a more evenly spread out and not have 1096 in a calendar year where over 1,000 of them destroyed in 1 month and 250 of those one day. All miraculously and coincidentally the day after Alex Salmond won a court case to show how badly the Scottish Government had handled his sexual harassment complaints. And then, subsequently since then, Nicola Sturgeon misleading committees about his the handling of his accusations. And furthermore, an independent, apparently, judge from Ireland who found that she had, and I'll just try and quote, given an incomplete narrative, but then went on to say it was just genuine failure of recollection. So she just genuinely couldn't remember. On Nicola Sturgeon's gravestone, it will no doubt have the words, I don't know if it was a good life or not, because I can't remember. It's just fantastic, isn't it? And I need to keep reminding you, this is a government that stand on a pedestal and tell us all that they want transparency and openness. They seem to be one of the most corrupt, secretive, lying groups of people I have ever had the misfortune of knowing about. They are inept at telling the truth. They are very good at hiding stuff. They are very good at giving out heavily redacted freedom of information responses. They are very good at upsetting information commissioners who, after 6 years of dealing with them, telling you they are not fit, their freedom of information workings are not fit for purpose. Yet the cult will still march the streets telling you that they're wonderful people and independence is not far away. It is total bollocks. So, enough of the rant. If you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up please. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and the notifications, and you'll get told when the next videos come out. There'll be another video I recommend you watching about here on your screen at the end. But most important of all, have a great day. Bye now.